Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I am Mona Duncan, and today we're going to be looking at quality schools. Bring the screen up. Choice theory schools or quality schools. And choice theory psychology explains our behavior. And so, in all of life, what is it that you want? And then also, what is it that you want? What is it that I want? And how may I help you to obtain what it is that you want? So, again, asking the question, what do you want? Uh, and so, here just have some words, and we could add a whole lot more words to them that would be coming into our thoughts. We want to be identified. We want to have a good position in life. We want all kinds of things that we could just rattle off. And so, how do you get what you want? And again, do we need to do some thinking to that? And what do your students want? And how do students obtain what they want? And is it, helpful or not helpful? And do you and your students want the same thing? Or does it kind of, bring a difficulty there? So it's looking at what do you not want? And so I put this little thing in here, which has all kinds of things that you don't want to be complained about. You don't want to be this, you don't want that. And so we'll not go into that in anything, but sometimes we need to look at not only what we do want, but what we do not want so that it can be more, what we do want would be more stable and more meaningful. And so, in learning what we want and what we do not want, it's all about relating and how we relate one thing to one thing else, one person to one person, one person to, the one person you being to a group or to the weather or to the news. There's just how do we relate one thing relating with one other thing? And so, lead management is one of the skills that is used to talk about school. So we want to create our environment for change and cooperation so that we can, and in relating, it's asked to do the best that you can, not only of the others, the students or the co-teachers or the principal or whatever, but also to ask the students to do the best that they can, always being open to learn more and to do useful, worthwhile work and to evaluate your own work and to improve it, to look at what you have done and think, well, how could I improve it or how could it be more important? And then share with and obtain feedback from others. And then also information sharing promotes a learning team atmosphere that as you can have someone else to help you. Now, we're not talking about a test, and you're looking over to see what someone else is writing down. But if there's something you don't understand, if you can kind of talk with and get some input from other people. The learning team approach takes advantage of each person's unique insights and skills as to how they can understand a concept or how they understand history or how that history applies to today. Gives a more of a learning atmosphere when you can have different people giving some input. And so then here, the learning team approach takes advantage of each person's unique skills and insights. And we can learn even more. And so quality schools, relating is based on trust and respect. Trust is what's going on and respecting each other's thoughts and attitudes and wants and dislikes. Discipline problems are mostly eliminated because there is an understanding and an interaction with the students. Quality work beyond competency would be, okay, I mean, what? Everyone wants an A, but in order to get an A, there needs to be not only correctness, but even competency beyond that. And so the lesser work is ungraded And the more you can get up to doing the very best that you can so that it only receives an A grade. Using choice theory in schools prepares for life learning. And parents are encouraged to participate in study groups and proficiency tests, entrance exams just improve across the board as going through the qualities of. And school is viewed as a joyful place by the students, by the teachers, the administrators, the parents. So here is a quote from Louise Weckl, who is a quality school teacher, and she's talking about how to really, well, just going to share the three things that she said in her the magic of quality schools. She tell her students, you can't flunk in my classroom because I have all the answers. And I will give you the answers, and then you will give the answers back to me. And I thought that was rather clever. And she says, now I want you to ask any questions you need to, because if you need to know the answer to something that I haven't well explained, there are probably 4 or 5 other students in here who need the answer also. Therefore, those of you who already understand the concept, I would like for you to help explain it so that you can, because you can probably teach your friends better than I can. Maybe they could relate to you better than they could relate with me as your teacher. And so you can't flunk in my classroom because I have the answers and I'm going to share them with you. And then you in turn can share them with others. And so as choice theory, the key word is about choice. And as we look at the rest of our life, whether it's in school or out of school or just whatever's coming up, are we wanting average or are we wanting it to be memorial? And so knowing that I can only choose for myself, I cannot choose for you. I cannot choose for you, and you cannot choose for me. It's kind of saying the same thing again, but it's realizing that it's not only one way. I can choose for myself. I cannot choose for you. I may make some comments and ask some questions, and you may then choose to make the choices. But I cannot choose for you, and you cannot choose for me. We are independent in those. If you do what I don't like, I can only choose what I can do. I may say something, but again, how can I do it? What tone of voice, what procedure, and so forth. Life works better when we get along. And good relating accompanies happiness. And so, one of the things is that with teaching quality schools is to spend time with the students and help them to learn enough and know how to do their work and go up to A competency. And so some people will say, well, why not if they're not doing good, if they're not doing A competency, if they're definitely not a D or a C, even down to why not fail them? And so Dr. Glasser's response to that was, well, in the Army, when the troops are in boot camp learning how to dodge the bullets, they are not shot at. They don't shoot them with live ammunition to teach them a lesson before they are even sent into battle. It's their learning process before the actual engagement of helping things to become better. Real learning occurs when students are given the opportunity and can choose to correct their mistakes. If they can get, oh, I see what I did wrong. I see I was close, but I wasn't close enough. Don't have to answer correctly. And so as we're looking at and relating to and changing, the relating and the changing question, the question in and of itself is right here. Is my handling of this situation drawing us closer together, or is it driving us apart? And I like to look at this, that everything in life from here, from me personally, is all about awareness. And it's being aware of the issues that are being presented, whether they are ongoing or whether it is a surprise. Being aware of the issue, being aware of the person and what their need may be, being aware of the way I understand something or not, being aware of my own tone of voice, of my facial expressions, of demeanors, of the way. It's how do we relate? How do we change? And so, in looking at that, was come up with is my handling of this situation drawing us closer together or driving us further apart? And that was Dr. Glasser that came up with that. Continually being aware of what we are aware of so that we can be more. This moment is the only moment that is at our discretion to do anything about. We can regret what we did later, or we can be prepared to do better in the next few seconds or few minutes. And so Dr. Glasswood said, when we label anyone as bad or use any of those what do you not want words that we looked at on the second slide, anytime we label anyone as being bad or as not cooperating or as this or that or something, we have more trouble dealing with them than if we could settle for a lesser label. Or just don't even do the lesson. You can, I see the abilities that is within you and that you can. And so as we overcome controlling others, the positive side, this again is from Dr. Glasser, the positive side, and we're talking about getting along, relating to, liking others, and so forth. The positive side is that we get along better and we respect each other more. They follow your lead. Within a year, most students are working for competency and becoming a joy to teach. Knowing that we improve our character because we are now asking more of ourselves and less of others. After we've been taught, after we've been learning things, we're beginning to realize that, yeah, I can make my ABCs or count the 1, 2, 3s and do it so much better now because I'm asking more of myself rather than wondering what someone else is doing and how they are getting the answer. And we impair our character when we demand more of others than we are willing to give of ourselves. And so it's breaking that chain so that we can run free without dragging something behind, so that we can ask more of ourselves and less of asking others, and that we can not be so demanding of others so that we can be willing to give of ourselves and what we understand in point. And so here is a diagram that Kelly Crossing came up with that is based on, and it's adapted from the choice theory of Dr. Glasser. And looking at the fact that, the bad feelings, are you sad? What do you not want? Do you not want anger, hopelessness, worry, uncertainty? Well, if we realize that we don't want those feelings, then what kind of behavior are we participating in that brings on those kinds of feelings? Well, and again, it's looking at what you don't want. You don't want the anger and the violence, that if we're not behaving in a way, or if we're not bullying in a way, or if we're not shutting down and not talking and not cooperating in such a way. So if we want good feelings of hope and confidence and safety and knowing that I'm going to be able to learn this and do this, if we're wanting some good feelings, then this is the type of behavior we need to begin to look into and work from that type of behavior, because our behavior has a lot to do with our feelings, that they're on the back wheels and they follow the choices we make and the thoughts that we think. So we'll stop sharing, and I hope this maybe gave you some insights. And so we'll close out, and thanks for being here.